If you'd prefer comfy sweats to Spanx, to all other plans, just say no thanks. Come snuggle up, grab a blankie, and then you'll be all ready for a girls' night in. Girls' night in.
Hi, Sunflower.
Hey, Mama.
Lou Ann, I have been so looking forward to this. I cannot
This has
even tell you.
been a long time coming.
It's a long time coming. Mm-hmm. And so we're just going to jump right into it. Laney, what are we doing this week?
Y'all already know we're doing Mamma Mia.
Hey, here we go again. Hey, baby.
Here we go again.
Have you decided, is this our season finale or is it our season opener?
I think we're going to say season finale.
Awesome. So we're a little bit late. We're probably by the time this drops, we'll be about 4 days behind our anniversary.
Yeah, happy 1 year anniversary.
I know, happy 1 year anniversary, baby. Can you believe what has happened in this year?
Oh my gosh. If you had told Laney and Kira 1 year ago what our lives would look like this time next year.
I'm so glad I didn't know. Like,
unpack that.
Like, because if you had told me a year ago, listen, little miss, by Thanksgiving, your daughter's going to be living in Florida, I would have fought like a fish out of water. I would have been just like a mess. So I think we're protected from those kind of things, because I would have been like, no, but we're just starting this. And, as erratic as has been from the standpoint of how often we drop an episode, it has absolutely been a highlight. So I feel like if we had known you were going to leave, maybe we would have never started it. Mm-hmm. What do you think?
No, I totally agree with that. I agree that it's definitely been a journey. And I realized today, because I know there's been so many times we get on here and we're like, we're sorry, we're so all over the place and blah, blah, blah. And I think I've just come to the conclusion that, like, this podcast, she is not polished. She does not have a social media calendar. She's not on schedule. And you know what? Like, it's just a little surprise when you see our episode pop up on your Spotify. If you guys are dedicated enough to have those notifications on.
Yes.
It's just kind of like a pop-up. Like, it's like, oh, we randomly decided to do an
cute.
episode.
I love that idea. Like a pop-up shop.
I think my thing for season 2 is to just be who we are, and that is ADHD, unorganized ladies.
And we still have a lot of changes going on. I've left my teaching job in the city that I've been in, and now I'll start a new one in August. And unfortunately, because of that, I have to go to new teacher training, which I do not feel like I need. So I have to go back to work August 1st. So I'm actually going to have a much shortened summer.
I know. I was going to say, like, as a two-parter to, like, if we had only known, like, what would last year you have said hearing about your job change? Like, it's about damn time.
Yeah, I think I think I would have been scared to think, how could things go so terribly wrong that I'd be willing to walk away when I've stuck it out through some really bad times already? Mm-hmm. That I would have been terrified to think, what's going to push me over the edge? And so I'm kind of glad I didn't know. Yeah.
I know it's kind of off topic for the pod, but I would love to do an episode on being a woman in a certain career path. And I would love, like, to get your story and just unpack, like, your journey there, and to your comfort level, of course. But I think there's just so much there about, just being a woman, especially a woman in education, and, like, what that can look like.
Well, I had two really profound, one that was, well, both of them. in the last 2 weeks. I was out on the playground at recess duty. Did I tell you this? And this young man pulled up and he was delivering the mail and he goes, Miss Roberts, Miss Roberts. And I went over to the fence and he was like, hey, do you remember me? I was one of your students and I'm doing great. And I mean, that was just really thrilling. And I said, what a great job. You have wonderful benefits. I'm so glad to see you. Have no idea who it was. Then this evening I went to see your nanny. I went over and just took her some little goodies. And when I got there, she was in the cafeteria, which is so unlike her, or in the little common area eating.
Yeah, that is shocking.
And I was like, Mom, what are you doing here? She goes, my baby's here. And I thought she meant me, and I was very thrilled. But no, there was a little pumpkin, a 1-year-old, that her CNA has a little girl, and she brought her in to see everybody. And it was the cutest little thing because she's just 1 year old, and she was running around looking, and all the little elderly people were so thrilled to see this little toddler. It was precious. But the, I was going to say gentleman, good Lord, I'm old, behind the counter getting the food ready said, Miss Roberts. I said, yes. And he goes, did you teach at... And I said, yes, I did. And he goes, you were my 5th grade teacher. And so he was my first class of
oh my gosh,
5th graders. And it's so sweet to run into them and they remember who I am. And they're so endearing and loving and positive. And so, but I would love, love, love to do an episode that's about that. I think I mentioned that on a different podcast that we had that I'm like, I'd really like to do that just from like a caveat also for young people coming out of school who are thinking, maybe I want to do this, and maybe they do, but I think it would be, it's good to have a realistic perspective. But anyway.
Yeah, we will definitely do that soon.
We'll look into that. But back to Mamma Mia. Okay, Elena, I need to know your first memories. Let's go all the way back. When do you first remember seeing this?
If memory serves me right, I think we saw this in the movie theater. Correct me if I'm wrong. I can't remember if this was Hairspray or Mamma Mia, but one of them, we had the tea party at Nani's because Grandma was in town and she wanted to do a tea party because that was her vibe, and Cottagecore Queen. And so we had a tea party at Nani's, and then I believe afterwards we went and saw Mamma Mia in the Dollar Theater. And
we did see it in the Dollar Theater. I don't know if that was the same trip because it was
the tea party.
It may have been, but you would have been 11 when this came out.
Yeah, no, that was right.
Okay.
I remember being probably like a little too old to be dressing up. I was like all dressed up for the tea party with like a hat and like was probably a little too old to be dressing up like a princess, but there we go. And I loved it. I remember it being like, oh, it's like a little raunchy for her. Like everybody was like, oh, should she be watching this? But like, it
wasn't Grandma wasn't the one that said that. It was Nani, because Nani went with us.
Yeah.
And Nani was a little like, I think she's too young to be seeing this. And my mom, who was very conservative, was like, she's fine, because she loved it. So she had already seen it and she loved it so much that that was what she wanted, was to take us to go see it.
Yeah. So what is your version of that story? Is that
same
thing?
Same thing. And I remember my mom being frustrated. This is so bad. She was frustrated at the end because we wouldn't get up and dance, and she wanted to get up and dance. I don't know if you remember that.
Wait, that makes me want to cry my eyes out.
She was like, we danced in the other theater as soon as it was over. Everybody was dancing in the aisles. Get up and dance. And I was like, Mom. Like I was embarrassed.
At the Dollar Theater, like no one's there. You're like, you're embarrassing me, Mom.
No one is there. Do you want to give the synopsis, Lou?
Oh my gosh, do I? I'm going to have to make it up because
do
I ever prepare for this?
We're going to do Mamma Mia, and we're going to do Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again, but we'll probably divide it a little bit more on the side of Mamma Mia, so go.
Right. Okay. So we've got Meryl Streep, and then we've got Amanda Seyfried. Mother and daughter duo, Donna and Sophie. And Sophie is getting married. They live in this gorgeous hotel on this Greek island, Kalikuri. And Donna's a single mom. Sophie's never known who her dad is, and so she decides her wedding is the perfect opportunity to find out who her real father is. And so she finds her mom's diary. She reads and realizes that she has 3 potential dads. So she finds them somehow, I'm guessing the internet, and sends them all invites to her wedding. None of them know what's going on. Her mom doesn't know what's going on. And so basically the whole gist of the movie is just all the shenanigans going down of not everyone understanding the situation, and then Sophie trying to figure out who her father is. She thinks, like, as soon as I see him, I'll know. And then she doesn't. And then she shares traits, like, with each of them. Like, Sam draws, and she's a really good drawer. And then Harry sings and plays guitar, and so does she. Bill, I don't remember what his thing is. I guess, like, wayfinding.
And adventuring.
Boat.
Yeah,
adventure. Travel. And so she still can't figure it out. And eventually Donna finds out, her fiance Sky finds out, and he's pissed because he just wants to travel. Like, he's willing to marry her because he loves her, but they're only 20 years old. He wants to go out, see the world. And everyone's concern with Sophie is like, why is she not, like, going and, like, finding herself? Why is she getting married at 20? LOL, I can relate. And so when Sky finds out that she has this whole, like, scheme with the dads, he's like, is this what the wedding's about? Is just for you to find your dad? And she's like, no, like, I really love you, but I need to know who I am. And he's like, you don't find that by finding your dad. You need to find yourself. So do I give, like, the whole ending, or do I just leave it?
No, you can say whatever you want, because I think the majority of people out there have seen this.
Yeah, all of y'all have seen it, so it gets to that point. And, like, Donna ends up, like, seeing the dads, and she's like, oh my god, why are they here? But she clearly, like, still has a vibe with Sam. Like, Sam was, like, you could tell was, like, the real love. And, like, Bill and Harry were, like, just her trying to get over him. And so when they're going up to the wedding's happening, and, you know, her and Sam have this emotional song, and it's literally so good. And they get to the top, and the wedding's happening, and then, like, all the confessions start coming out, and it's so funny to watch the priest's face. And Sophie's like, I don't care if you slept with 100 men. And she's like, I didn't sleep with 100 men. But then Sophie decides, they decide they're not going to figure out who the dad is. They're all just going to share her. Which younger me hated that. I wanted to know who the dad was, but older me, like, loves that they're just like, you know what, we're not even going to find out.
So you don't want to know? Because I know.
I know who it is too.
Oh, okay.
Wait, I'm curious who you think it is, because I have my information from TikTok.
I have my information from IMDb and Wikipedia.
Okay. And then anyways, so Sophie's like, you know what? I know who my dads are. And she's like, I don't want to get married. I want to travel. And then Donna and Sam are like, yo, why waste a perfectly good wedding? And then she says the line, I am not a bigamist, because she thinks
he's still married.
He's still married. And he's like, no, I'm divorced. And then they get married, and it's so good. And then we have Take a Chance on Me, and it's like the best thing ever. And the end, happily ever after.
So let me ask you, I have several questions for you. First off, I'll give you guys some stats. So, Mamma Mia, the film, came in at 55% for critics, 66% for audience. The director, Phyllida Lloyd, had decided after hearing ABBA songs, because she was working with Bjorn, I think, or Benny Anderson on one of the different musical. And she said, you know, your lyrics sound like a musical already. And what if I wanted to turn this into a play? And he was like, absolutely not. He was like, I don't see how that's going to work. He's like, it would have to be some sort of a phenomenal story. So she went and found Katherine Johnson, who is the writer, and said, will you listen to the lyrics and see if you can put together a story? We can't change the lyrics. He said that we can't change the lyrics. So he could put together a story. And that's how the 1999 play was born. And then from that, the success of that play was so huge that they were like, let's make a movie. Now, I don't know if you noticed who the production companies were.
Oh, yes, I did. Wait, I think I did. Was it Playtone?
It's Playtone, but did you see the name of the second production company?
No, but I know Playtone is Rita Wilson,
and
isn't it?
Tom Hanks.
Because she does every Greek thing you've ever seen.
Yeah.
She did My Big Fat Greek Wedding, like all of it. Get Him to the Greek, I think. Like any Greek movie, she does it.
So the side production company, which is actually two members of ABBA and Katherine Johnson or Phillida Lloyd, is called Little Star Productions.
No way.
Yes.
Wait.
That's what I call myself because my mom, his name was Star, so Little Star. And
That's so weird because like if I had to pick a movie to like represent like grandma, it would be Mamma Mia.
I know it's serendipitous.
Yeah.
So they went ahead and decided that they were going to make the 2008 movie. I saw an interview with Amanda, and it was on The View, and she had just done her first interview ever, had been a 3-minute thing on the Today Show, and then she was immediately on The View with Meryl Streep. And what everybody said in the interviews that I watched a lot of interviews. I went down a rabbit hole, Lou. I'm not going to lie. Was how much everybody was just in awe of Meryl Streep. They're like, she is so like, I forget like the words that they used were, just you can't help but watch her and she just draws you in and the realness of her and her person is on the screen and just like, because when I talked to Elena a little bit, because we cannot watch the scene where she sings Slipping Through My Fingers. Listen,
It's hard.
It's hard. I've shared with you guys on the podcast before that we watched the movie again before Elena went on her missions trip, and I went downstairs and changed over the laundry during that scene because I couldn't watch it. And I said, I know that gets me every time. And Elena was like, I mean, can you imagine sitting in Meryl Streep's lap? And I was like, excuse me, I meant us. I meant from you. Like all I could think of was putting Elena on my lap and painting her toenails, which I'm sure we've done.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I didn't mean, because you and I have talked so many times about how like that scene is like us and like it gets us every time. But I also think about it because it's like Amanda Seyfried had done like what, Mean Girls? I don't even know if she had done it at that point. And like, yeah, she had. And but still, like, she wasn't that big of an actress. And then just like can you imagine being like a baby actress and like just curling up in like that icon's lap and her like putting a Band-Aid on you and like painting your toes?
No, I can't. She had been
like she's like doing your hair.
She had gotten fired from All My Children, and then she did Mean Girls, and then she got cast in this. And I can't imagine. I can't imagine what that's like to be.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine hugging Meryl Streep, let alone
let alone sitting in her lap and her like holding your foot.
So there was a lot of trivia attached to this. Only 2 or 3 scenes were filmed actually in Greece. Of course, the one where Christine Baranski sings "Does Your Mother Know?" Mm-hmm. And the one where the "Save All Your Love for Me," where they're on the beach. Mm-hmm. And I guess Dancing Queen. But the rest of it was filmed at the 007 studios. So they actually built the entire set of Donna's Hotel inside a studio. That all of that was filmed inside.
Okay.
Isn't that cool?
The light looks so natural, though. That's like shocking.
So natural. So I'll sprinkle in stuff along the way, but you tell me, what are your favorite scenes or what do you love about this movie?
Oh my gosh. Like, I don't even know where to begin. We watched it, when I rewatched it, it was last week. So my friend Allie and I have been going to this like dance class where you just kind of like get to drop in and like do whatever. You don't have to be talented or anything. And so we've been going. It's like a musical theater class. And last week they did Mamma Mia. We did Voulez-Vous. And
that
when
is
we got
so
home,
interesting that just happened to be there. Which, by the way, side note, the background music to that was recorded at Criteria Recording Studios when ABBA did it.
Wow.
Which is where our youngest son, Miles, used to work. Yeah, go ahead.
Crazy. So anyways, we always like have dinner together after with our husbands if my husband's not working. And so we all went over and we were like, oh my God, let's watch it. Because Greg and Simeon had never seen it. They loved it so much. They were like, we didn't know it was going to be campy. We're like, oh, it's so campy.
So campy.
But like they were saying, they're like, oh my God, this is like the Elena blueprint. Like this is like you. And I'm like,
It
yes,
is.
like this is like if I had to like pick a movie to describe me. And it's so funny because I just said that about grandma, but like also me. And like I don't know, I just love this movie. I love everything about it. I love the colors, I love the comedy, I love the campiness, I love the music, I love the costumes. Like I can't pick one.
Who's your favorite
cannot.
character?
I can't pick one.
You can't pick one. And if you, who do you want to be her father?
It's just such hard questions. I love them all.
So you like
I
the
think-
ending that they're sharing her? Like, why no?
Yeah.
Let's all share her. I like that too. I like that
I
too.
think if I had to pick one, like who I want to be her dad, obviously all of them, but like if I had to, I think I would say Harry, because I love when he's like, if I were to have a daughter, I'd want her to be just like you.
And-
I would have spoiled her rotten. Her face when he's like, I would have spoiled her rotten. Her face like looks so sad,
I know.
like the life she could have had.
And I love that.
so good.
But I love when he's like, if I can just have a third of her, that's enough.
I know. I love him.
I know. I love him
and when
too.
he's like determined to give Donna that check, like when he dives off the boat and like goes and is like, no, I'm not taking it back.
I
just
do
love
love him. I do. It's so well cast. I mean,
Who do you want to be her dad?
I want Sam to be her dad because I want the happy little intact.
perfect
I want the
family
intact
unit.
family. Mm-hmm. But actually, I really do like the fact that they don't find out, because I think
Yeah.
that it changes the men in different ways that's positive for them to think that they have a part of her, makes them better people. And so I really I like that. Are you more of a Christine Baranski or are you more of a Julie Waters fan?
This is like Sophie's choice. Like, how do I... No, I mean, I love them both individually. I love Molly Weasley. What's her name?
Julie Waters. Walters. Mm-hmm.
Love her. I love her in Calendar Girls. I love her in this. I love her in Harry Potter. But I also love Christine Baranski because I love her, like her sass and just
She
like
is
her
so sassy.
sexiness. Who is yours? Who's your pick?
Julie.
Yeah, I love
I
her.
love that she's quirky and she can't dance right, and she's just lovable. You know, she is every woman, right? Christine Baranski's character is so high maintenance that I'm like, I enjoy watching her play that character,
But can't relate.
And Donna is too free spirited for me. Like I love her, but I'm like, you don't just move to an island and then just decide that you're like, I'm like,
I am Donna. I'm like, yes, my ADHD is like, let's move
Right.
to the other side of the world.
I'm like, absolutely not. You stay where your family is. Yeah. What's your favorite song in the first one? You have to choose. Nope. Sorry. I'm holding your feet to the fire.
Okay. You know what it really is, and I feel like this is gonna sound dumb, but I actually love I Have a Dream. I love the beginning when she's like on the boat and it's like everything's starting and it's like dark, you can't actually see her, but like I love that part.
Yeah, that's a really beautiful part. I agree with that.
What about you?
I like it at the bachelorette party. I forget what they're singing right before she passes out.
Voulez-vous.
But I love that choreography. I love the spinniness of it. All right, Laney, let's get into the bachelorette party, shall we?
Shall we? Well, first of all, I'll share this on our Instagram. I think I'm just gonna like put the full video on there and just slap it on there. But Mom did this for my bachelorette because I always wanted it. Like I wanted the Super Trooper with the outfits and everything. So my mom and her girls all got the outfits. bell bottoms and everything and perform Super Trooper at my bachelorette. And so, you know, it was inspired by Sophie's bachelorette party.
As I recall it, it was before she left for her missions trip, that the time that we watched it at home, not the first time that we saw it. She turned to me when they were doing Super Trooper and she said, "Mom, will you do that for me when I get married?" And I said, "Sure." And I thought for sure she remembered that she had said that to me. And so we very stereotypical.
I feel like I remembered the moment, but I didn't think y'all were actually going to do it.
So I contacted my girly girls. Elena's bachelorette party was so darling because she wanted my girls to come too. And it just so happens that 3 of her girls, of Elena's girls, are my girls' daughters. So her cousin Lila, actually 4, Abby and Katie, are my friend Julie's daughters, and my goddaughter Jameson. They were all there too, and it just on top of Elena's bridal party and their moms, and so it was perfect. And so I reached out to my girls and I said, "Hey, listen, at one time Elena said that this is what she wanted. Are you in?" And of course, my nuthead girlfriends were like, "Absolutely." Well, we all live in different places, so we couldn't rehearse. And Elena was not feeling well the Saturday.
Listen, you guys, here I'm going to tell y'all, if there's anyone young out here listening, which I don't know if there is, but if there's a young high school, early college girl out there, let me tell you, when you go to a girls' weekend, do not go hard on the first night. I repeat, and I said this to my girls. I went to a bachelorette last weekend, and I said this to my girls. They were like, "Okay, what night are we going hard at?" And I was like, "Not Friday," because I learned my lesson at my bachelorette. And that first night, it was so fun.
We had a great time. Had a great time. And she didn't, so Saturday we had dinner reservations. And she wasn't feeling well on Saturday, and we needed to get her out of the house so we could rehearse because none of us had rehearsed together. We had watched the video over and over and over and over again from the movie, but we hadn't rehearsed together. And God bless my niece, Lila. She was like, "All right, this is what we're going to do." And she choreographed the whole thing, and we ran through it over and over again. And the cute thing about that, Lou, I don't know if I've ever shared with you what that was like, but so it was Julie, your Aunt Lisa, your Aunt Michaela, Miss Melanie, and myself. So there were 5 of us. And Mel and Lise had been in dance her whole life. And Mel is the mom of every group. And the 2 of them were like, "Okay, let's go back to that second step. Now and Julie and Michaela and I were panicking. So we're like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Oh God,
let's just move on, because we didn't know how long we had to rehearse. So before you guys take a look at that Instagram, you need to know that we rehearsed for less than an hour. Because Elena was out in the sun with Katie. Katie was trying to distract her, and Lou started to not feel well again. So she was like,
I was like, "Oh, I'm going to barf.
We're coming up. We're like, well, it's going to be what it is now."
Oh, I kind of like that it was like loose, make it your own.
That's such a nice way of saying uncoordinated.
I don't think it was uncoordinated. I thought it was free-spirited and beautiful, and I loved it.
They were so generous because when I reached out to them, I said, "All right, now listen, I found an outfit on Party City. Let's all order our own." And, everybody was 100% in. It was really, really sweet. It's so sweet because they just love you so much.
Oh my God. I can't even express how much I love those women and how grateful I am to have that. And so many. It's not just oh, you and Aunt Lisa. It's Aunt Julie, Miss Melanie, Aunt Michaela. Everyone is just so supportive and loving. And just to have all those strong women uplift me, I feel is what has made me who I am today.
Well,
and their daughters, all of their daughters as
isn't
well.
that lovely? I think that's so lovely. And the majority of your friends' moms that I've met that are not in my immediate circle, I just find to be amazing women. And I 100,000% credit my mother because she said, you will become the people that you hang around. Please choose carefully. And I hope that I'm a quarter of what those women are. And, you know, that was the conversation I alluded to at Yaya when I said, you know, I'm able to look at every single one of those women and know exactly what they bring to my life and who they are. And in a lot of cases, I know who to call for what when I want to hear whatever I know that Melanie's going to give it to me straight with a little bit of cushioning. You know, I know that Aunt Michaela is going to be like, let's put the body in the trunk. You know, I know that Aunt Lisa is going to be like, we need to stop and pray for this person. I know that Aunt Julie is such an interesting mix of, she rides the wave with me, if that makes sense. You know, she's like, let's see where you're at, and then I'll match.
She's in it with you.
I'll match your pace. Yeah. And so they're all so, like, to your point, they're all so amazing, but I see the same thing in your friends. Like those girls, of course, you know, the daughters, of course, but, you know, outside of that, your bridal party, like Sophie, is just like one of those people that I'm like, even if you weren't friends with her, I'd want to be. Yeah. You know, which is such a beautiful thing, you know, to have that crossover of generations, because we get a lot out of it too. You know, we learn from you guys, and it's just, I think that's really what resonates with me about Mamma Mia. And I think it is that fact that I see a lot, again, and it sounds so self-important, where, you know, that I see a lot of our lives in that movie. And one of the things they kept saying in the post interviews of both movies was, our only purpose was to bring joy. And they said the set was so incredibly joyful and that's why people signed on to do it. Wasn't so much, I mean, a lot of it had to do with the fact that it was ABBA, but what they said was, when people started falling in line, like Pierce Brosnan said, as soon as he heard Meryl Streep, he said, I didn't even know what the project was. But I said, yes, I will do it. Now let's talk about the singing there, Lou. How do you feel about the singing, please?
Okay, I would love to answer this. Here's the thing, like, I don't like that people shit on Pierce Brosnan. Am I saying his name right? Brosnan?
Brosnan.
Pierce Brosnan's singing voice, because this movie is camp. Yes. And and I love that the dads are like in it, and they've said, like, I'm sure you watch the same behind the scenes as me. And the behind the scenes, they're like, this is the most fun I've ever had making a movie ever. And so, like, yeah, it's funny to see Pierce Brosnan singing, because that's not like his typical vibe. And like, I don't think, like, and this might be controversial, but I don't think everyone in the cast is like the most amazing singer ever. It's just campy, and it's these great actors, and they're being silly, and they're having fun. And like, I love his singing. I love Meryl Streep singing. I love Christine Baranski's singing. Everybody, like, it just makes me happy, because it's not about like, oh, let me like show off my pipes. It's this actor and this character in this role.
I think you're so right. Like, if you were to do it to Les Mis, people would have a right to be outraged.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is only supposed to be for fun. And I think part of the allure is you could have put anybody in those roles.
I was just about to say that. And also, like, I feel like it makes the audience enjoy it more, because it's like, I could be, you know, Christine Baranski's character, or I could be Julie Walters' character. You know, it's anybody, like, any one of us could see ourselves in that role, because it doesn't matter. It's not about like showing off your pipes. Maybe for Sophie a little bit, but like, you know, it's just fun.
It is supposed to only be fun, and that is why they all came back. You know, when they did. Now I say we switch gears, but is there anything else you want to say about the first one before we move on?
I don't think so, but if it comes up, if I think of anything, I don't mind just popcorning around. Okay. But I agree. Let's go move to
right. So you give the part 2 synopsis, baby.
Part 2, Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again. It's kind of like a prequel mixed in with present day, or what's supposed to be present day. I will say one of my biggest issues of this movie is the timelines make no sense.
It's so true. You got to suspend reality.
when she's talking to Cher and she's like, the past 25 years. And I'm like, are you telling me Amanda Seyfried's supposed to be 25 right now? Because I don't even look like, I'm older than 25 and I don't know. So anyways, but anywho, it's kind of cutting back and forth between present day and the past. So at this point in time, Donna has passed away. I'm assuming to cancer.
They never tell us. Mm-mm.
Okay. And so Sophie has come back from her travels. She's taking over. She's revamping the hotel in her mom's honor. They're going to have this like reopening party that's also kind of like a memorial for Donna. And at first you think like, she says like the other two, Sam's there, her stepdad, but the other two dads like, oh, they can't make it. And you're thinking like, oh, they didn't sign on to like do the movie.
Right.
You're thinking too, like I also was like, oh, Meryl Streep's dead in this because she didn't want to do it again. Right. You're thinking like, oh, I'm not going to see her during this movie. And so it cuts from like this party and it keeps cutting to like Donna's origin story and like cutting to the story we didn't see in the last movie of what happened with the dads, which also the timeline there does not align.
It doesn't align
with what's in the diary from the first one, which is kind of, I will say in this movie, I'm doing a lot of like turning a blind eye to like the holes.
You
the
have to.
plot holes. But anywho, so yeah, you see Donna like meeting all the guys and like, of course she's an icon. It's Lily James. Like, hello. Like she looks amazing. You get to see her with like her young friends and you know, how Sophie came about, how she navigated all of that. And then I'm sure all of y'all have seen it. It cuts forward and Cher shows up. She's the grandma, which that doesn't make any sense because in the first one, she says that her mom is dead.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And like super Catholic and religious. And then Cher shows up from Vegas, like looking fabulous. And the dads end up showing up. You're like, oh my God, I didn't think they were going to be in this. And they save the day. And Meryl Streep is in it too, like with new scenes, not just like old stuff from the past movie. Like she comes and she records like an entire scene. Which, oh my God, there's so much to unpack there. But anyways, that is basically, it's just a prequel, but it's more than that.
Yeah, so it bounces back and forth between, like Elena said, her origin story. Lily James, I thought, did a fantastic job. The younger versions of Christine Baranski and Julie Walters, I thought, were dead on.
They looked just like them. It was crazy.
Such good casting.
Especially Christine Baranski's girl.
Absolutely.
Was like just like her.
And they kept saying, well, Amanda says in her interviews and that she felt like this was a much better movie, which is interesting.
Than the first one?
They did. And as a matter of fact, it got 79% for critics' reviews. Compared to
for critics
compared to the 55 for the original, and
this is shocking to me.
And it stayed at 66 for audience review. Now the original movie made $611 million worldwide. The second one made 402. So in both cases, and the second budget was 75 million. The first budget was 52. In both cases, it made a ton of money. The first movie is the highest grossing movie of all time in the UK.
Oh, the first one.
It beat out Titanic.
Wow.
I know.
Wow.
So it's the highest grossing movie musical still. But I think there's another movie that's beat it out from a non-musical standpoint. But it was at the time higher than any other.
Wow.
So, I'm sorry. I forgot to say something about the first one. When Meryl Streep sings "The Winner Takes It All."
Wait, I have a point about that too.
She did it in one take.
Shut up.
In the studio in Stockholm. The actual recording of the song, she only did once. Isn't that amazing? Because it's an outstanding performance.
It's amazing.
Amazing.
And first of all, let me just preface this by saying all my information comes from TikTok. Okay?
Yeah, all mine comes from Wikipedia, IMDb, and Rotten Tomatoes. Go.
I'm not even going to act like, oh, I read somewhere. No. I saw this on a TikTok. I saw a TikTok where someone said, and this might be a little too sad, so I can cut it out if I need to. But I saw a TikTok where someone said, my mom always sobs at "The Winner Takes It All" ever since her and my dad got divorced. And so when you listen to the lyrics thinking about divorce specifically, because I feel like you don't automatically think about that because like Donna and Sam, like they dated and like, yeah, like she was sad that it ended. But when you think about a marriage and you listen to those lyrics, I used to like kind of ignore that song when I was younger. And ever since I heard that, I get so emotional and like I'm so just like sucked into that song.
Because both the members of ABBA were couples, and both couples got divorced.
Okay.
They said that it was too much stress, and they were only together from 74 to 82. So it was
Wow.
8 years, and which is so interesting because they're so popular, so incredibly popular, to think that they only recorded together for 8 years. Now, the two men, Bjorn and Benny, stayed together and co-wrote other songs, but you know, the songs that were written came from their real life. So you're
Wow.
probably right. The winner takes it all. So, new cast members that joined besides Lily James, I thought this was kind of cool piece of trivia that Cher said, "I'll sign on if you let me pick who Fernando is." And she was the one that chose Andy Garcia. And he's actually a decade younger than she is. So again, the timeline is off.
Yeah.
But
Also, are we supposed to believe that's Donna's dad?
that is interesting. That is one of the trivia points on IMDb, is that we're supposed to believe that maybe he is her long lost father.
Wow.
And they,
Because, yeah, they never mention when she's at college and she's like, well, my mom didn't show up again. She never says, like, my mom and dad.
right.
She just says my mom.
And the Fernando part of it was added later because they couldn't figure out how to get a war song into the movie. But Fernando was such a huge hit of ABBA that they needed to figure out a way to get it in there. And so I thought that was brilliant. You know, I mean, again, you have to suspend disbelief. Now, what?
And did you notice that, like, they worked it in that one scene where she's with Harry and she's like, well, my mom got her heart broken by a foreigner, so I stay away from foreign guys or something like that. So they kind of like teased us there, gave us that info there.
Yep, alluded to that. Now, and oh, this was cute. Amanda said, I saw her on Late Night with Jimmy Fallon, watch that, and she was telling him that when she met Cher, she didn't want to fawn over her, so she just went up to her and said, my name's Amanda and I'm going to be playing your granddaughter, and so it's so nice to meet you, and I'll get out of your way. And she said that Cher was like, so you don't want to hang out? And she was like, oh my God. I just didn't want to, I didn't want to, because she felt like everybody was just going to swarm her. But Cher also said that this was the most fun she had ever had. And she and Meryl Streep were together in Silkwood, which was that first movie that Nora Ephron did. So
I still need to see that.
Yeah.
I know you say I can't handle it.
You can
but
handle
maybe
it.
if I had like a glass of wine, I
don't
could like
drink.
handle it.
Don't drink while you're doing it.
But you know what I was thinking?
What?
A quick side note.
Yes.
So I was watching Will and Grace the other night while I was cooking dinner. And on that episode, Will and Jack are like, keep talking about how they like can't stop seeing Mamma Mia because like the show would just come out on Broadway. And they're like, like Will was like, I went 2 times this week. And Jack is like, I went 3 times today. Like they're like obsessed. And I was thinking, I'm like, Jack would be so effing excited that Cher was in the second Mamma Mia.
Right?
Like I want to know. I want to see Jack's reaction to that.
It's so true. If I believe in love. He just
Wait, what's the other one he sings? What's her other song?
her one other song.
Okay, not that she only has
I
one other
know,
one. But
I know.
I don't know. I'll have to think. It'll come to me later.
So Meryl Streep got $3 million just for 1 week's worth of work because that's the only amount of time that she was there for Here We Go Again. Let's talk about that scene for I can't do it.
If you think slipping through my fingers is bad,
my gosh.
what is the song called? Not My Love, My Life.
My
but,
love, it is. My Love, My Life.
it is My Love, My Life.
And it was originally written as a breakup song. It was the I think it's Benny Anderson, adjusted the lyrics for the movie. But a couple things that I saw, or something that I saw, said, Lily James's Donna in the flashbacks has on this butterfly necklace. And I don't know if you noticed that Amanda's dress had butterflies all over it in that last scene. Don't start. And they did that on purpose. And I gotta say, of all the stuff I've ever heard Meryl Streep sing, that song, their duet together is so beautiful and like has such real emotion in it.
Yes, it's so real.
And guess what? The baby is really Amanda's in real life. And it's a little girl, not a little boy. I know.
Oh my God.
I'm like, I could not have filmed that scene. It must have been so easy to cry because I sat there and cried. I watched it again today just to watch it again, not for any other reason but to see it again. And I mean, just, I don't know. I'm like, I don't even know how she got through that scene.
No, I don't think they're supposed to get through that scene.
I mean, it just...
The part that kills me the most is when she's closing the door.
I know, I can't. Oh.
Wait, I'm actually like fully sobbing. Okay.
Pull it together. Pull it
so
together because the light's right behind her. Oh my God.
I don't think we've ever cried so hard on
If you have
G and I.
not seen that movie, you have got to pull that up on YouTube. It is like just, it feels so raw and so real. It's so moving.
It's the best part of the movie.
It's the best part of the movie. And and then the closing scenes, Lou,
where they dance
credit,
with their younger selves.
Love that.
I love it.
What
oh my gosh.
a great way to come back from that scene where everybody's fully sobbing and to, roll right into that. And they said they didn't really choreograph that. They just said they played the music and let them go at it.
Oh my gosh.
And
I love seeing young Donna or Lily James and Meryl Streep dance together.
That I thought was brilliant. Have both generations side by. I like the way that Christine Baranski and her partner have the microphones tilted up like they do in Super Trooper, and all those little details are so worth it. And I think Elena and I alluded to the fact that we couldn't watch it for a long time.
Yeah, I was going to say, when we were crying a second ago, I was going to be like, you have to understand that when we first watched this movie, well, first of all, okay, y'all, this is an emotional episode, so just like hang in there with us. So we were super excited when they announced they were doing the second one, obviously because Grandma is obsessed with Mamma Mia, right? Like, fave movie, super exciting. And it just so happened that when it came out, when did it come out? Was it June? Was it before she died?
It was June.
Okay. So
we were actively in the middle of it.
Yeah. So it came out when my grandma was in hospice. And so like Mom and I like waited a really long time to end up watching it because we were like, yeah, we can't do that. Not even knowing that it was going to be emotional like that.
Oh my gosh.
We didn't know Donna was going to be dead. Like we didn't know any of that. We're just like, oh yay, Mamma Mia. And so then we finally like sit down to watch it. We're like, we're going to watch it. We're going to watch it. The way her and I this was my first time watching it again since that.
Me too.
But like we loved it, but like we were so unwell during a lot of it, but especially during like I think that's one of the first times her and I have watched a movie and like audibly sobbed together. Like not just like sniffles, but like heaving
sobs. And to be honest, I didn't fully appreciate it because I was buffering myself.
You couldn't let yourself go there.
This time I was able to truly take it in, and I can see why it had a more popular rating. I mean, I adore the first one, but the nuances of this one, even though the timeline is off, the thought process that went into it was so endearing. And
Yeah.
it just seemed like it was meticulously done to be an extension of an experience instead of just a sequel, if that makes any sense. That it wasn't just a let's throw this out and put it on paper. And I think that's why it was 10 years after the first one, because they were like, nope, that's not good enough. That's not good enough. Now, there have been little tiny rumors of a third one.
Well, did you see they are making a third Big Fat Greek Wedding?
Yes, you did tell me that. You did
So
tell me
I'm wondering if Playtone is like, let's do it all.
Well,
Like, let's do a
Julie
third.
Walters has retired, and she said that is the only thing she would come out of retirement for, was to do a third one. I could see where you'd have a set built-in story. You could make it, although it's a boy, the baby is supposedly a boy. I could see where you could do a mother-in-law-y kind of thing and have, fast forward into that wedding. But I don't know. I mean,
Oh, I see. Kind of like Big Fat Greek Wedding.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
so, I will say there were reviews. I chose not to look at the ones that were rude and mean. The ones that were uplifting, just overall was about how fun-loving and joyous and right for the time that we found ourselves in, the second one especially. And that is the reason why they're even considering a third, is they're like, if we can bring some happiness into these dark times, it would be worth it. And do you have any other favorite things you'd like to say?
Well, I have a question. First of all, of the older versions, which dad would you pick for yourself? And then of the younger versions, which of the dads would you pick for yourself?
I am 100% Sam in both cases.
Oh, okay.
Now, that being said, we know that Harry is gay. So he would have been more
I think we need to take that out of the
equation.
the equation. But also, if that works in your equation, then
I think, because
do what you want.
Harry and Sam are more my speed.
Yeah.
They're conservatively, like the adventure part of, I'm sorry, I can't, Bill, it sets me, I'm like, it makes me a nervous wreck. So I'm thinking Sam would be more my speed, and definitely young Sam. I was like, yes, please, check, please. How about you?
Hilarious you say that, because mine is Bill.
Of course it is.
Of course. I think in both cases, older it would either be Bill or Harry. I'm not into Pierce Brosnan. I think he's a handsome man. He's just not for me. So yeah, and then young Bill. I also love a blonde guy.
Yeah,
we know this.
I'm a brunette all the way.
Yeah.
So now tell me, who do you identify with most of the female characters of all the both generations? Who do you identify with most?
Sophie.
Of course.
Because, and I would say either Sophie or Donna. But I don't know, this is so, the way I was saying, I have all those women in my life that, have just supported me and uplifted me and made me feel my best self. I feel like that's Sophie with how her mom's friends and her mom, she's just, I don't know, I relate to that so hard. And then, but she also still has, the adventurous side and, the curious side of her. So I feel like that's, but sometimes she plays it safe. Donna doesn't ever play it safe.
Right.
But Sophie is a give and a take, so I feel like definitely her.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
I feel like that sounds annoying. It's of course she's going to pick the main young girl.
No, but you are. I mean, I'm sorry, you are.
Are you you're Julie Walters, or who would you identify with?
I am. I'm Julie Walters all the way, man. I'm like, I don't know. I like her steadfastness. She is who she is, and she's not afraid to be who she is. And I think that her wit and humor and the fact that she relies on that, because she doesn't feel like she meets up to Donna or Christine Baranski. I just really appreciate her realness. That's who she really is. If you guys have listened to this and you still have not seen these, do yourself a favor. So, baby, you and I alluded to what we thought was coming next, and I'm super excited if we're both on the same page.
Yeah.
Do you want to give me a hint?
Let me think of a good quote. What? Like it's hard?
So we are doing Legally.
Is that what you were thinking?
Legally Blonde.
Yeah. Is that what you had in mind?
Yeah, baby. That's why I said pink.
Okay.
It's pink, right? It's pink.
Yeah.
Now, Luann, are we doing 1 and 2 in the same episode?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too. I'm super excited. This is our summer hit series, like Elena said.
Summer hits kicking off. Our next episode will be season 2, episode 1, Legally Blonde. What a good one to start a new season on.
It so is. I'm so excited. I have no idea what's coming after that, but we're 100% doing that next. And
I have thoughts.
Ooh, oh, good. Not to share right now, though.
Maybe after we finish recording, I'll tell you.
Well, we love you guys. We thank you for the people who are still out there. Let us know if you give us your opinions on what you think about our little wrap up there. But also, we want to know from you. Did you see both of them? Which one did you prefer? Did you like them both equally? What songs are your favorite? So reach out to us. Probably Instagram's the best way to do that.
Yeah. Or text us because, most of the people listening have our number.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But we appreciate you guys. We love you. And we will see you next time.
Love you.
Love you.
Bye.
Girls' Night